everyone and welcome to my channel. It's Pamela here. I'm back with another video. It's going to be a tutorial really. I was asked a few times when I shared these on my 12 Days of Christmas series, these simple folios, if I could do a tutorial. So in case anyone needs any last minute gifts that they want to make up, these are really simple, take at most a couple of hours to make. So yeah, I'm gonna do another one tonight. I've got this gorgeous Cozy Christmas by the Paper Addicts paper pad to use. I'll just have a quick flick inside. I just wanted to show you the paper pad I'm going to use just before I start cutting into it. So yeah, really gorgeous designs here, quite bright pinks, which are my favourites. I'm also just going to use plain white cardstock. In the UK, we have this at 250 GSM, which I think is a gram square metre. I know around the world you measure your cardstocks differently. And I think, like, if you're in the US, this probably works out to about £100 cardstock. So for these folios, you don't need to do like chipboard covers or anything. You could just use a thick cardstock, and then we double back it with whatever paper choice you're using. You can use a complementary cardstock. Sorry about the glare, but I've run out of baby pink, so I'm going to use this one, this colour, which I think complements quite nicely with the accent pinks in the pad. So yeah, you're also going to need your paper trimmer. I'll just walk through it so I can actually remember what I'm talking about. Your liquid glue, or if you want to use score tape or double-sided tape. I'll mostly use glue for these. If you want to have a ribbon or seam binding enclosure, you'll need that too. So there's the accent cards, like, or the different color, like contrasting card that I've double matted everything on. So yeah, you need your main cardstock for the cover. You need a secondary card if you want to. I mean, you can just back it in white or black, craft, it's up to you. We're going to use that complementary, like additional, like the colored cardstock for our flaps and making our pockets. And then you'll just need your patterned cardstock for covering. I've used a decorative punch along the edges of the pocket there, but you really don't need to if you don't have one or don't want to. And yeah, just glue. So I wanted to show you the papers, but I think now I'm going to trim them all up and come back with the sizes. So I shall be back in a sec. So I'm back with my card and pattern paper all cut out. What you're going to need for the cover is whichever cardstock color you're using, but the size you will need is a piece of cardstock that measures 6 inches high by 12 inches wide, and you're going to score that at 5.5 and 6.5 inches, and that gives us our base. We're going to double mat it, so we've got 4 pieces of cardstock that are 5 1/4 inch wide by 5 3/4 high, and we'll be using these to cover the front and backs. And then you'll have a small strip in the middle. So you'll need two pieces of cardstock that are 5 3/4 high by 7/8 of an inch wide, and we're just going to place those like that. I wonder, I might find it easy if I actually stand up to do this. And I think I might start with the middle piece. So I'm trying not to get my head in the way so that you can see what I'm doing. I might just use those so I can see exactly where the score lines are. And once I've got the middle one in, it'll be easier to get the heights of the two on the sides. And just, you can use whichever glue is your preference for these, or as I said, you can use score tape. So I like glue because it gives you that little bit of time just to get it positioned correctly. I just want to, it's a bit hard for me to see the score lines from here, but I think that's pretty straight. So I like glue because, yeah, you do get that bit of time that you might need, like me, just to position it nicely. And I think while I'm up, I'll do the one on the outside as well. So I really hope I'm still in shot here and not getting in the way of anything. And we've got glue there. That's okay, we're going to cover this up. And just sure we've got it out the sides. So we're going to cover that up, so it's no big deal. Then we want to put our piece of cardstock on the inside. So this is why I don't like getting my glue too near to the edges, just to stop it going everywhere. And just get that lined up. Just turn this so I can make sure. I think that's okay. And then we'll do the other side. I might do it this way. And just burnish that down so nice and flat. And we'll put our two pieces on the outside. Just want to see where we'll place these. What I realised after I'd wrote the measurements, I did write them on a piece of paper, but I thought it'd be easier as well if you guys could, I don't know if you, I mean, I hope you can see that, like, it is in shot, but I realised afterwards that I'd wrote really like near the edges of the cardstock, so want to make sure I can get those marks covered up. And let me know in the comments if you plan to give this a try. I know 1 or 2 people did say like they wanted a tutorial for it, if I could do one. And I actually wasn't planning on doing really any folio or mini album tutorials like quite so soon, but these are pretty simple, so I just thought, yeah, why not? Be a nice last minute gift for Christmas. As I said earlier, like if you haven't, like if you need that last minute gift, you haven't got anything already, but I think they make nice little folios at any time of the year. So that's our outside all done. So we want to put our patterned paper on the inside, and for the inside I've chosen these 2. I have cut these with the middle strips, so I just want to make sure, yeah, and I just wanted to make sure that they're all aligned. And I've just left like the tiniest border. I would have had like a slightly larger border on the dark pink cardstock, the plain one. But I think I need to replace the blades on my trimmer. So when I was cutting it out, they were getting like really frayed and that at the edges. So in the end I had to go over them with like a rotary cutter, cut them out like that, and with a ruler as well. I hope I'm not in the way here. So yeah, it did make them a fraction smaller, but you can obviously put any size border on that you want. If you want more of a border from the backing card, make these pieces just that bit smaller, or you could make your cardstock a fraction bigger. And the measurements actually for the patterned paper, I've got them wrote down. The patterned paper, so these 4 are 5 1/8 of an inch wide, 5 5/8 of an inch high, and then you need 2 pieces for the center part, and they are 5 5/8 high and 3/4 of an inch wide. So just going to place that in the middle. I know I've done the craft with me tutorials for the rosette. Whoops, I've gone off the edge there with the glue. And the craft with me with the tags. But I kind of feel like this is like my first real tutorial. That's not how we want it. That's it. So yeah, if you think I'm doing even an okay job, please give this video a like. leave a comment as well, and if you haven't already, please subscribe to my channel. Definitely have like different tutorials coming up in the future. And different project shares. Definitely will have more mini album flip throughs. So what way do we want? Is it this way? I think so. Just trying to get those stripes all aligned. And yeah, there really isn't a lot of border from the pink cardstock here, but that's okay. I hadn't planned to do any more of these folios really at any point soon, but just thought it'd be nice to share how they're made. And yeah, try and keep you guys happy. So yeah, here we go with it. So that is our inside done, and so far pretty easy. So we'll just get this middle one stuck on, and I might have put this Tombow glue really goes quite far, so you don't need too much at all. You may just put a tiny bit. Well, you don't. I don't know if we've got anything coming out of the sides, and just position it. I think that's okay. Just flatten that down. There's a bit of glue come out, but that's okay. So now we want to cover up with our pattern paper the front and back, but if you want a ribbon closure, this is the time to put it on. Just going to see if I can find some more ribbon. So I've just grabbed some ribbon and we'll attach it now. We want to find the middle of the book, so we know it's 6 inches high, so 3 is the middle. And I'm just going to dab on a tiny piece of glue and attach it. Tiny bit of glue even. So our middle is roughly around here. And that's okay. You can use seam binding, whatever you'd like. And then just to make sure this is completely flat, I'm just going to smooth over a bit of sellotape, scotch tape. There's something else you can use. I can't remember the name now, but it's something, oh, I can't remember the name. Something like what you might put on bandages. Just want to make sure that's, find it a little bit awkward working not directly above it, but it should be okay. And that's just to make sure it's really smooth down. I think I might turn this again when I stick the paper on. I can just see it a bit better from this angle. So these are our outside pages. Work out how to maneuver this. Make sure I've got it the right way up. I'm just leaving a little border on each side. That looks okay. And you can see it's all nice and smooth there. So we'll just do the same thing again on the other side. And just find the middle. So 1, 2, 3, that's our middle. It's like a really, there's it, taffeta. It's kind of like, feels kind of gauzy, but the glue's coming through, so I'm really tacky. And I'm just going to put another bit more of the sellotape. You may not even feel that you need to, just to make sure it is really smooth down. And got a bit on me there. I'm trying to get rid of this piece of sellotape, but it doesn't want to leave me. There we go. So and again, let's put our cover on this side. Because I've got the paper pad, but for some reason, well, I don't think so anyway, I don't think this company, I think it's Paper Addict, seems to make any ephemera or die cuts, which is a shame to go with their collections, because they do really nice papers. But I've just used a little scrap of the paper that was left over to make a little tuck spot. And then I've used one of the journaling cards from the Sugar Cookie Christmas collection by Prima, just as a way of embellishing the front, and it's the same way that I done the folios in the 12 Days of Christmas series, so I just wanted to do the same thing again, so you guys could see like what I've done. And this scrap of pattern paper is like 2 by 2 inches I've cut it at, and I've backed that with some of the pink cardstock, and that is like probably 2/8 that make a quarter on each, but there's an 1/8 border on each side. And then one of the 3 by 4 journaling cards, I've just backed that as well with a paper, a piece of the cardstock that's also like an 1/8 on each border. So that would make our covers are completely done. We will just trim this ribbon a bit, but I'll do that at the end. So now we want to do like the waterfall on this side. So we've got, you can add really as many or as few as you like. They are 6 pieces of the cardstock that are 6 1/8 inch high, 5 inches wide, and then they've been scored and folded, burnished at 1/2 inch. And I don't know how this is going to work here. Just trying to see it. We are just going to lay these all down like one by one. Like try to center it. So let's just get the first one on. I've rounded the corners on these as well at the bottom, but you can or you don't have to. So let's get our first one on. I'm trying not to get in the way too much. So we're just trying to line that up with the paper underneath, making sure that we've got a straight edge at the bottom and on each side, and you will have a tiny bit of the paper underneath showing. So that's our first one down. I think I'll just switch to this bone folder. Just worried that there might have been some glue coming out there. Our second one, we're just going to line up exactly over the first. That seems to go on exactly right first time, so not sure if I trusted it then, but yeah, that's on in the right place. You see, like here you've got a tiny bit of the glues come out, but that's fine. Like how that piece was on the spine, it's going to be getting covered. And we just keep repeating the process until you've got all of them in place. Just always making sure that you're straight along the sides and on the bottom. Again, you could use score tape for that, for this, but that's why I like to use glue. So we do have a few seconds to maneuver like the cardstock into the right place. That is a bit sticky. And that was our last one. You'll see when we put the pocket on, you've still got loads of room. So, I mean, you could add as many of those. If you wanted to do a few more, you definitely have room to. Now it's a matter of getting our decorative papers on, and I've rounded the corners on these two. You could, if you wanted to, distress the edges, like with ink, like ink the edges, I should say. I keep referring to it as distress the edges, but ink the edges. It should be a nice touch. And just looking for the patterned paper. These are 4 7/8 inch wide by 5.5 inches high, and I've already got them out in the order that I wanted them, so put a bit in the middle as well here. And so you can see now it's starting to take shape. So I've got 6 of these to put on. I think I'll do the rest of these and come back when they're all done. So I've just attached all of the decorative cardstock on the waterfall flaps. I'll just give you a quick peek. So on the top one, we've got these gorgeous heart decorations with the garlands. The second page, we've got these multicolored snowflakes, reds and pinks, and the creams from the collection. Next page, we've got Christmas wishes, and that's what I thought. Well, all of these accents go with the pink cardstock. The red heart decorations as well, and a bit of mistletoe. We've got this pink page with the multicolored hearts. We've got this pale pink with the snowflakes on. I think this is our 6th page where we've got those cute mittens with the hearts on. And that's our 6 pages done. If you remember, in the 12 days of Christmas, I had a small little tuck spot up here to cover that flap, and we could hide another little journaling card or photo mat up there as well. So what I've done is, with one of my scraps, I've managed to cut out exactly the coordinating stripes up here. This measures, it's you can have up to about 1 inch. This is probably just under. Yeah, this is like maybe 7/8, but it's only because it's my scrap, so I'm gonna try and use it anyway. So have one about 1 inch, and then it will be 5 and 7. No, excuse me, it'd be 5 1/8 wide. And that's just to cover that flap up. You don't have to, of course, but yeah, it's nice to tuck your little cards here. So for this, we're just going to glue even along one edge and the 2 sides. So I don't want to spread my glue out too much. I don't want it coming down and not being able to fit anything underneath. So we just really need a small amount, and I want to try and line it up with those stripes. But when you place yours down, just make sure you're not on the score line above. So I think just trying to keep out of shot as well. I think that's okay. Oh no, maybe not. I just realised on the side we are off. Yeah. Okay, so when I lined it up a second ago, I had it a lot better. No, it's okay. And I've just got a photo mat here. I don't want to push it right up to where that glue is not fully dry yet, but as you can see, we've got a little tuck spot there then. And that is that side done. So all we have to do now are our pocket, even. And to do that, you're going to need a piece of cardstock that's 3.5 inches high by 6 3/4 wide. You then want to score it at 1/2 inch and 3/4 inch on the 2 sides and the bottom. So one of the long sides and the 2 shorter sides. So it'd be 1/2 inch and 3/4 inch. And that's going to make our sides. So to make the corners, cut straight up into both of those score lines at the bottom. Just trying to be really careful because you want these nice and straight so that it folds over neatly. So we've cut up both sides. We turn it to the side and just cut across the first score line, that 1/2 inch one. And then with this second little flap, we're going to cut that all the way out. I may need to trim that just to, I think it should be okay. So do the same thing on the other side where you cut the bottom piece, the first score line, you're cutting that just up to the 1/2 inch. And the second part you cut all the way up to the 3/4, and that will leave us with these little tabs sticking out. If you're going to use a decorative punch, you would do that now. And I've used this heart punch. I've been using the poinsettia punch quite a bit in my Christmas makes, but I thought the heart one went nice with these papers. And I'm just going to cut off those bits on the side, and that should be fine. And then we just want to fold and burnish across those. Whoopsie, sorry about that, guys. We just want to fold and burnish across all our score lines. So we are almost, these parts you can just fold. But yeah, I was going to say we are almost at the finishing line now. I don't know why I chose to fold the second line up first there, but no matter. So once you've done that, you should have something that looks like this. And when we fold it, you should get your pocket. And this is why it's important to have those edges cut neatly. I may just snip a small piece off here. Sorry guys, I do hope I'm not getting in the way. This one actually may be okay. I think that will work. So on those two small tabs we've got, we just need a small amount of glue, and then we tuck them in. You just hold those for a second. And you can just press down with your bone folder. Sorry guys, I hope you can see what I'm doing here. It's just so we've got a good contact there, and they should pretty much be stuck, but we're also going to add some into our edges there. And then we can use the bone folder again to just push that edge up there onto the back. Just press it up onto your finger so you've got that contact. And it's okay that there's a bit of glue coming out of the back, because we're going to glue that onto the page anyway. So this pink cardstock isn't the thickest. Just try to make sure you've got your edges as straight as you can get them. And then you should have something that looks like this. And now it's just a matter of applying glue right as much to your edges as you can get it. Just trying to go quite close to the edge, but then I don't want a lot of glue spilling out from the sides at the same time. Then I like it quite close to the bottom. Just going to line this pocket up here. And over to the left hand side, so that'll be your front cover. And let's just sub. Just make sure that you're not interfering with the score line here, so don't go over the score line with your pocket. And just to make sure we've got contact, those back edges just push down onto the covers, to the cover even, and that should all be nicely attached. So I'm going to use one of those pieces of cardstock. It's just a scrap left over from that page, and I'm going to use that to cover the pocket. That measures 5 1/8 across and 2 1/8 above. I'm just looking at the punch and trying to decide whether I want to just take another tiny piece off the edge down at the bottom and leave maybe a slight border. So I might try to take the tiniest piece off, though hoping that I don't get all my edges frayed from this blade. So I'm just really trying to take like a real sliver off. And let's see. And I think that's fine. And just to attach that, it's not directional, so where we scored at 1/2 and at 3/4, that's given us then the 1/4 inch deep pocket. Probably wouldn't recommend that you go any deeper than that, just because of the size of the album. Folio even. And I'm just using the bone folder to push the cardstock from underneath, just so I can get a nice contact. Sorry, my bone folder is just slightly grubby. It's just tacky stuff. And then yeah, there's our pocket. And I've already made a couple of photo mats that will go inside. So something like that. Got 2 of the larger ones there, 2 of the smaller ones, but you could fit a fair few in. The size of the photo mats, the larger ones are 5 by 5. Oh, and I've actually forgot to mat this one, but never mind. So they're 5 by 5. This is a 5 by 5, and I've just used paper from the cardstock again, and I've just got a 1/4 of an inch, not a 1/4 of an inch, 1/8 of an inch border on each side basically. I will mat that one before I say it's completely finished. And then these I've cut to 3 by 4 and just matted them on cardstock again. That's an 1/8 of an inch bigger. So yeah, I think that's it. All we need to do now for this one is just tie it and give these ribbons a trim. So guys, I really hope you enjoyed this tutorial and that you make some of your own, especially if you've never experimented with or never tried your hands at making any kind of mini albums or folios so far. If you do and you're on Instagram, please use the hashtag PPTC inspired so I can check out what you've done. I'd love to see your work too. If you did like this video, please give it a thumbs up. Let me know in the comments if you enjoyed it and if you plan to make one of your own. And if you haven't already, please subscribe to my channel for a lot more videos coming up. So yeah, there we go guys. Thank you so much for joining me again. Take care. Bye bye.